I understand I'm sitting alone by saying this. I'm adamantly against rainy day funds.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
So, you want to have that rainy day fund. My suggestion is credit card.
Everybody knows you never go full retard. What do you mean?
Let's say, God forbid, it's a medical emergency and you have to declare bankruptcy at some point in the future. Declare bankruptcy, it's bankruptcy.
Why is everyone so fucking stupid? Why aren't more people intelligent like me?
I am short Nvidia. Do not short Nvidia along with me. It is very risky. I am down a lot of money. I'm okay with it. I am down a lot of money. I'm okay with it. I am down a lot of money. I'm going to tell you something. I've started a position in 3M stock.
I thought that intro was beautiful.
I got two of them now, so fuck that guy, dude. Like, I should play it. I'll play him at the end again. I love that guy.
So nice. It has to be done twice.
like this. Like,
I am short Nvidia. Do not.
I am short Nvidia.
Like,
and he has 200,000 subscribers. How does that make you feel?
I imagine that a good amount are probably like 8 subscribers, hopefully, but yeah, not
I think
great.
a lot are just bots, honestly.
Not great.
I wouldn't be surprised if he bought a lot of those or it's just
yeah.
Like,
I am short Nvidia. Do not short Nvidia along with me. It is very risky. I am down a lot of money. I'm okay with it.
I'm down a lot of money.
If
you were him, why? Like, you have millions of dollars supposedly from your family. Why would you do this to yourself?
Because you want to be right, and you want to like use money as the hopeful scoreboard of measuring how right you are. Maybe I don't know. That just
I've said this before. You do not. I'm pounding my desk. You do not short companies based on valuation.
No, I agree.
Do you think Hindenburg shorts on valuation only? Like,
no,
they write like 200-page manifestos of why there's something wrong with the company. Incompetent management. They're hiding something. They're cooking the books. Corruption. There's something there. It's not valuation based ever with these firms. And when I've been successful short or puts, not shorting, it's not a valuation play. It never is.
No,
I literally go after companies that I think have fundamental flaws or something with the management I don't agree with. I've never don't short on valuation.
Oh yeah.
Because how do you know your valuation's right? And apparently people are like, oh, look, NVIDIA, what was it? Whatever, 60 multiple or something. That's too rich. It's like, well, actually, after the last earnings, that's probably pretty appropriate with how fast the earnings are growing.
Oh yeah, because
sometimes companies deserve crazy multiples.
I'm just stunned. It's like even like setting aside NVIDIA, even if I thought like one of the big established tech boy names like Microsoft and Amazon or Apple, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna stand on my soapbox and die on this hill. They're too overpriced, or overvalued. But we all know they have so much cash. We all know that if they really want to turn on the spigot to throw some cash and buy back shares, like you're not winning.
This is the fundamental problem in why Paul's such a clown, is that he thinks every company is just the present value of future cash flows. Like, that's it. It's like, no, there's more to it. There's companies like NVIDIA that's not true. It's the only AI play in the market right now that makes sense. It's like the only AI stock that's like profitable and not a clown show like C3. So like and their sales are just going to the moon. I've never seen a company like the increases are nuts. So yeah, like sometimes like it's the only company in the world basically right now supplying like data centers chips. Like, yeah, it's worth a lot of money. It's like, but his yeah,
can't win. I mean, I just hope that the people that tried to copy him like know better and figure out fast, limit the damage. But
I'm gonna play one right now, and then we'll get into our next topic.
I am short Nvidia. Do not short Nvidia along with me. It is very risky. I am down a lot of money. I'm okay with it. I am down a lot of money. I'm okay with it. I am down a lot of money. I'm going to tell you something. I've started a position in 3M stock.
I forgot to play the last part.
Yeah, that just.
And then he quotes like super investors. Oh, I almost made another video of how awkward he was when he interviewed the Dean evaluation.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
God. That
Yeah,
dude's like just thrashing his whole software into his face, and Paul's just sitting there like very quiet.
Oh, I blame, and I'll name drop him, JC over in a few of the discords. He actually like posted their video on Nvidia, like their earnings or their like reaction to it roughly, and he said that gross margin was like basically the same thing as for every additional product you get profit back. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
He doesn't make money on YouTube. I know that. He's throwing money at this thing, trying to grow it. I guarantee he's losing it. But anyways.
Yeah. Alrighty. We got some great product.
I did put in the title a retail Armageddon, but we did talk. I spent half an episode talking about retail already. It honestly, nothing's really changed for me. I mean, I don't, except Dick's got destroyed, and then was it Dollar Tree got destroyed. Who else? There was somebody else, right? Some other retailer.
I think so. I forgot how Ulta did. I want to say like glancing around though, someone said they're doing okay. So I think they were also one of the names that mentioned like last time around, like the whole shrinkage and theft thing going on. But I don't know.
Yeah, and then Dollar Tree, I think people are just buying like essentials and food.
Oh yeah.
They're not buying extra anything else right now. Target's a mess. Like, but this, I mean, we talked about this early June.
Yeah.
I haven't. It's the same thing as I've said before. It's a problem. I don't think it's going away that soon, but I don't think it's like a forever problem.
Okay.
And I think, and I said like I'll reassess any retail investments when maybe we get to the end of these rate adjustments, and maybe the first one that starts to go back down. I don't know, because then that's attached to like consumer loans, personal loans, credit card percentages, which. So we'll see at that point. And like ASO ran, and now it's going back down to about where it was when I first looked at it. So
fake Alice.
I thought it got ahead of itself when it ran from like 48 to 58. But
so it's mixed. It's mixed.
I don't think retail is dead as a business. No. Oh, Foot Locker was the other one I was.
Yeah.
Foot Locker, yeah. So like, but you got to be careful with retail, and you have like I personally, when I look at a retail company, like one of the first things I've said it before, can they defend themselves against Amazon? How well can they? That's the important part of it. That's why I like Home Depot, Tractor Supply, and then honestly, I do like sporting retailers. I think they have a shot to defend themselves. But it's rough. It is rough to be a retail company, no doubt.
Yeah.
There's a lot against them at this point. Like nobody wants to prosecute people stealing. So like we talked about this before. Like it has to, I believe it will get better.
Yeah. I think
political, if it becomes such a big problem, people will vote a certain way. Hopefully new people come into office and help with it.
Yeah.
So, or I'm a clown. I don't know. I don't know. Like,
Ah, it's like there are some signs, and I think there's also like nuance. Like I want to say, for Foot Locker, maybe it might be like some of their suppliers are getting more tough on who they distribute to and where and how. So maybe that's one of the reasons why. Because if an Ulta or some of the other ones are down-ish, but also kind of flat relative to like the whole earnings thing, like it's
yeah. So I
not
briefly
the end of
looked
the
at
world.
Abercrombie. Abercrombie's actually done the opposite, which is kind of
Yeah,
amazing compared to some of these other retailers.
yeah,
They've
yeah. Because
actually had a great year so far, and I think I didn't spend a lot of time looking, but from what I could tell, they've pivoted really well to like online sales. They've moved away from the mall model,
yeah.
being in the malls, more of an online brand, which they can do because they are a recognizable brand, I think.
Mhm. Yeah.
So they can lower their costs, but they have this brand identity that they can really push into, which maybe Gap could try and do also. But
Yeah.
like Foot Locker doesn't sell their own exclusive products that I'm aware of, and honestly, Nike and Adidas and Reebok, I think, do a
Yeah.
better job selling their own products than Foot Locker.
Oh yeah.
I buy all my shoes at Reebok's website. I literally get them in a day. I don't know how they get so fast, but like one day I get the shoes and I can turn around and give them back to them if they're the wrong size. So you're like Foot Locker is just a dead business. The only way I see it, they'd have to like become some sort of mecca for like sneakerheads, I think, like a boutique sneaker shop, I guess, for
Yeah.
more of a experience. And then they could have like, I don't know, sneaker club. This is such a not,
Gotta.
I would need someone to, if like, would that even be a business that would someone that's into sneakers actually care? Like a comic book store vibe, except with shoes. So that kind of cultural
Mhm.
store, maybe.
It's possible.
I don't know. I
There's
don't know.
no, there's some sort of pivot there because you have the physical space, and anecdotally, at least, I've heard and have glanced on occasion. Like the malls aren't necessarily dead. Like the ones that have
No.
survived, yeah, they're not dead. So assuming you have quality enough malls, you may have a chance to pivot at least. How, if and how they do that, and when, big questions. I don't know, but
A lot of the mall near me, they've pivoted towards a lot of experiential
yeah,
stuff in the mall.
yeah,
A lot more food options than there were in the past. With not just the food court, there's restaurants all over.
mhm,
There's a spa that took up like 3 whole freaking sections of the storefronts or whatever. Um, yeah, so can they do that? But then I should also say my mall near me, they had a $250 million bond they defaulted on that just
oh
got
no,
sold. So it's
oh no,
we say I can't say they're doing a great job. Well, maybe they are. They did
yeah,
the pivot, took the debt out, and then they just didn't pay it, I guess. I don't know. But
whoops,
yeah. So it's funny. And
yep,
they're gonna tell every tenant to have to pay their rent, and then they look at the mall who isn't paying their debt. What a mess. But I don't know. I
yeah,
wouldn't give up on retail, I guess I could say to people.
no. Just be clear. Just be careful. Just be selective if you can,
Yeah,
or
I would
just
just
in
say
that.
make sure can they defend themselves against
Yeah,
Amazon, do you feel? Like if you don't have a good feeling about them doing that, then maybe you should stay away. I
oh
thought
yeah,
Foot Locker was a disaster waiting to happen because like Nike had already said in the past, Nike's intent was to sell their own shoes at their own website to
yep,
control their product. They've
hmm,
said this literally in the past, and then they kind of relented a bit from that plan and offered back to Foot Locker for some reason to keep up their agreements. But in the end, I don't think the shoe companies they don't need a middleman like Foot Locker. It
yeah,
doesn't it doesn't need to exist anymore.
no, no,
It had a place when
hmm,
I was like 20 years ago. It had a place for you, but I don't see it.
yeah,
Um, Not all retailers survive. So let's see. Oh god, I haven't
yeah.
looked at any. Sorry, people. I haven't looked at any comments. Fake alias, fake alias. I should have you on, but you'd have to give me a direction or something you'd want to talk about because I don't know. Pull the balance sheet. Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
yep.
Ugh.
Yeah, as one of the short sellers, Mark Cohodes likes to say, don't fight a panther or jaguar or leopard while it's up in a tree. Like, you ideally trashy balance sheets. Like, fight it when it's sick and weak and on the ground if you have to.
I was kind of waiting for a video idea because I don't want to do this. I'm going to teach you how to do this dividend
Mhm.
growth investing. I really, it's like, it makes me cringe thinking I'm going to do that. So I'm going to do another ETF review of one I've mentioned, and also I was going to talk about a metric used. Like this ETF uses one specific metric
Mhm.
to align its fund. But what's interesting, it's beat the market.
Oh,
Um, but then you look at the holdings and you see there's a specific type of holding because it's only looking at one free cash flow.
oh,
So
yeah.
you're heavily weighted in hard to describe unless I go into it more in detail, but like you cannot rely on one metric
No.
because it's going to push you into one specific type of business where
Mhm.
all the companies just so happen to have a higher of whatever the ratio is you're looking at than other businesses. That doesn't make them good or bad.
Yeah.
But yet again, this fund did beat the market, so you can't trash it too much. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Because I
Yes,
like
I
doing the ETF reviews. I'm probably not gonna do stock reviews because ETF reviews tell you a lot. Like if you look at an
Mhm.
ETF that beat the market, there's not a lot of them. You can get, okay, why did it beat the market? Like, can you
Yeah.
pull lessons from that instead of
Yeah.
just buying it? Because who knows the future, it'll keep going. But
Mhm.
maybe there's something you can pull from it,
Yeah.
from their
Oh, for
investing
sure.
perspectives, like how they actually did it. What up, Lincoln?
Like, yeah.
Alta flat.
Yep. Yep. I
I've been
was
out of
definitely
Alta for a
waiting on
while.
it. Yep.
I almost sold at the top, I think. I got out at like 270 or no, what 470, I think it was. So
The market is scripted, everyone.
I'd have to look at my yeah, maybe. Oh, close to the top. I got out around here.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
470 right here.
Yep. So definitely on the higher side.
Oof, I didn't even know it went down after that.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Oh
That
yeah.
was a short-term thing for me. What?
What?
Wait, is that a
Yee.
boomer thing? Wait, nobody buy I have to wear Hey Dudes? Is that what I need Hey Dude? Oh god. Am I too loud? Maybe someone
I
could tell me.
I think you're coming in all right. Chat will definitely help us
Yeah,
out
if
with
I'm
that.
too loud, just let me know.
Yeah.
Just buy Crocs, bruh. I have a Croc position. I'm holding it,
Oh,
so
you're already in it?
yeah. Yeah, I have a speculation in it. It's
Oh,
fine.
okay.
I don't know, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Talk about the I don't talk politics.
Yeah.
I vote every time.
Not my cup of tea.
No, I don't watch the debates either.
Yeah.
I'm so sleepy.
Oh, poor Cole.
Fucking lit intro. All right, thank you. If,
Yep.
if
Yep.
anybody here is new, when it comes back after the live ends, I had some pretty good intros. I think I
Yeah.
was
I
pretty
think so
happy with
too.
them. Fine on audio. Okay,
Yep.
sounds good.
Yeah.
I never can tell if I'm loud or not.
No, no, no. You come in perfectly fine.
All right, so we were going to devote pretty much all of the time for military. I'm
Yeah.
Army. Bacon is who cares? Space Force or whatever. Air
Air Force.
Force.
Air Force, yeah.
I keep
Prior.
wanting to say you're Navy. You just look like a Navy guy to me. I don't know why.
Prior Air Force. Just the guy. Just the guy.
Yeah. So just talking about military companies in general, I guess. Just for I have Northrop Grumman and Lockheed Martin. I've been really long Lockheed Martin. I added a lot. Northrop was more of last year. I wanted a second military company. I really like what they do, which I can get into. Do you have any military investments?
Not that I directly control myself. It is a space though that is very, very interesting. But that being said, though, there is a size component though where like, hey, maybe this company is great, but are you sure you're getting in at the right time? Like,
Mhm.
it's okay to admire things from afar and also not short them like an idiot.
I mean, like a lot of these companies are in the S&P 500.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like you already have them.
Yeah.
If someone wants to if you're like a dividend growth investor, there's some decent options. So basically, I was looking at the DOD budget plus my own. I kind of keep track of what's going on in the military, just as a vet and a history major.
Yeah. Yeah.
But basically, the way that the budgets are trending, Marine and Army spending is flat. Most of the increases are going to the Navy and the Air Force. The Space Forces went up 15%, but as you can see here,
Yep.
it's so small. But honestly, it's not that small though. It's catching
Yeah.
up pretty fast to the Marines.
Yep.
So like a lot of, if I was going to get, or the reason I got in Northrop Grumman, I should say, because that's newer. Lockheed is old. Because my friend's dad worked at Lockheed, and it just kind of made sense when he talked to me about it. But Northrop I liked because we'll get into just the space component, and I've been aware that military spending is going towards, and you can read DOD's budgets and their own documents and the contracts they issue, that their spending priorities are air, space,
Yep.
and naval, and precision munitions is now a newer priority. I think partially because of what's going on in Ukraine. So there's a priority now in precision munition and ammunition storage. So I think this year they want to increase their storage of weapons and precision missiles, like we said. Also, because we're sending them to Ukraine, and we're seeing the effect of that on the battlefield in Ukraine. So it's a battle, and you could like so if people aren't paying attention, all those tanks that we sent them were for a specific type of warfare. The West, like the America, we use like a very specific doctrine that's different from like Eastern Bloc countries, where it's like movement, right?
Yep.
Like combined arms, movement, small teams that are independently controlled, like and commanded, bottom down control. So not everything has to come from the general. Like battalions can make decisions and so forth, which is totally different from like Eastern Bloc countries, where they're like the commander. There are no like NCOs. All the commands come from like the central authority. You have these huge armies of conscripts, and they have just lots of artillery, and they just move forward and just blast everything in front of them with artillery fire.
Oh yeah.
And then they just do like meat grinder attacks, I guess. But heavy, just dumping munitions on everything. It's a totally different type of warfare.
Oh yeah. Yeah, even the logistics also, like anecdotally, I heard for them, it's very, very push. Like it still is in line with that top down of, all right, so comrade general, you go this far, you can expect X amount of AKs, X amount of ammo for said AKs, and X amount, regardless of if you need it or not. It's gonna come, and it's probably coming in this state.
So people are probably wondering, you'll see these drones in Ukraine, and they'll be like an ammo dump just in the middle of the forest, and they'll just blow it up. And you're like, why are they dumping? People are like, why are they so stupid? Just leave their ammo there. Well, like you said, they have a different ordering I was a logistics officer in the Army, and it was all based on it was a request system. People would I was part of an infantry battalion. I was their support company. So I ran the missions to them. They would request ammunition, auto parts, food. And then we would, get their request and do a mission and go send it to them. In Russia, it's a different system. What'd you call it? Push logistics, I think.
Yeah, push, where it was basically top down.
They don't request. They have logistic packs, pre-defined logistics packs that they assume this is what this size unit would need to fight for X number of days. It's already pre-made, and they just push it forward. So that way the front line units don't have to request it. I think the reason they did that was because their communication tech sucks. But then also, if you assumed a nuclear war, you'd have to assume there'd probably be issues with communication, which would probably impede you from ordering supplies. So their system would just be throw. We already know you're an infantry battalion, you have artillery and tank. We already know what you need. We're just going to throw forward. You don't even have to ask for it. But then you're getting all this excess equipment that you didn't ask for, and then they blow it up with drones in the woods, which is what you're seeing. It's just wasteful is what it is. But you're dealing with a huge conscript army. It's not a professional army.
Oh, yeah.
So they're set up for that system.
Yep.
So anyways, we're gonna we could talk about this for days and days,
Oh, yeah.
military stuff.
Yeah.
But you can see like this is a very rough chart
Mhm.
from Bloomberg.
Yep.
Contracts, but you can see like aircraft, shipbuilding are getting bigger, missiles.
Yep.
This is getting even bigger than this chart. Precision munitions has grown more. Space's chunk is getting more. Ground is pretty much stable.
Yep.
So you can see if I had to, I would say it's air, space, ships, and precision munitions is like the priority spending right now. So if you were going to invest in a military company, you should see where the money's going in contracts, is what I would say. And you should look for what companies are in those spaces.
Mhm.
Then you have to look though, do these companies have like any kind of moat? I know because I hate that term, but
It applies. It applies. Well, rather, it can apply. Sometimes that mode can disappear very, very quickly. But
so I say this because people don't understand. Like there is, I work in the government and I do contract auditing and
Yeah.
procurement. And I've written some policy. Government contracting is different than what you think in the private sector. There is no what do you call it? Like when you change vendors, the cost of changing, like carryover cost or transition cost.
Yep.
Government don't give a shit about that. I'll just be straight up. Don't care. It doesn't matter. That doesn't affect the thinking when you do competitive procurements federally. Every procurement is a separate transaction, and there's no bearing on who did the previous contract. They all have to be procured, which means they have to put an advertisement and you do a bidding process. So they don't care. You go, oh, well, this guy's been doing it for 20 years, this contractor. So they could switch at any time.
Mhm.
And it could cost a ton of money and it could cause huge headaches, but they don't care. It's just not what the government's there for. So those transition costs are irrelevant. Like this is a great example of this.
Good old
This
Oshkosh.
company, Oshkosh, was building these, I think these medium-sized vehicles for the Army.
Mhm.
Someone's going to tell her, is it here? Joint light task vehicle, like a Hummer replacement. They were doing all the development. They have patents, all the work they did to build these things. And then the Army just cut their contract and went with another vendor.
Yep.
And here it is, AM General. Who knows? Why did they switch? You don't know. Maybe AM General is a better company. Maybe some senator has the factory in that area and he had some pull and he got the contract swapped.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how big a pain or how expensive it's going to be to make this transition. It doesn't matter. So, but they're going to do it anyways. So this is the world of government contracting. But there are moats. There are totally companies where like the transition cost isn't just a cost. It's just like it's almost impossible. And some like General Dynamic makes submarines.
Yep.
There's nobody else that's going to be making the submarines that they make for the military. There might be one other vendor that does submarine building. And then Lockheed Martin with the friggin' Joint Strike Fighter. We'll find out if that's a moat when the 6th gen contracts get issued. But it might. I mean, they have such dominant place in air power contracting. And then the reason I like Northrop Grumman is that big ass B-21 bomber. Do they have it on their? They don't even have a picture on their presentation. Boo.
Bearish. Boo.
Because no one else in the world can make this.
Yeah.
This is one of the most highly advanced technological military planes in the world. There's no other military company that can make this. And the transition costs would just be too prohibitive. Not even transition costs, but just like there's nobody else that could possibly make this, I don't think.
Yeah, the amount of capex and R&D would
the capex that the company has. And they control some of their patents also. It's not they're not controlled by the DOD. So that's part of the reason I liked Northrop Grumman, and also looking at where's that chart. I know that spending priorities are going towards space.
Yep.
So the spending priorities are going towards all the things that Northrop Grumman does: space, air, precision munitions. Northrop is in all these spaces that are getting more funding. So obviously, but funding priorities can change, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
This is a game. This is the game we play. So CVS started. Oh my god!
Uh
If you say they acquired a new business, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Another one. That's my reaction.
As a person who didn't go in the military, did they give?
Oh,
No. What did Strong? Yeah, I talked to Strongman about this. That the
TSP is what.
TSP. I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah,
When I
yeah.
was in the military.
So it's not a full on 401k proper. But yeah, like it effectively functions very, very similar to many other 401ks. It's just called a TSP. Your
Yeah,
choices
so
are
it's a federal it's a federal employee
mhm,
retirement plan.
yeah, yeah,
My
and
stupidity. I didn't even know you could do this in the military.
yeah,
But
yeah. I was gonna say I still have my TSP chilling in there.
it seems great from what he was telling me, and they even do matching.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah,
that's amazing. Good. I'm
yeah,
glad you guys got that at least.
yep, yep. Yeah. So they also have a Roth and a traditional choice. And if you choose to serve honorably for that roughly 20 years plus, have that retirement, then you also get a pension, which can be a factor. But
Yeah, my
yeah,
friend
that's
did.
separate though.
He did 15 years in the Marines. Then he's going to do 15 years in immigration,
Oh,
and then
very
he's going to have
nice.
a friggin' really sweet retirement.
Yep,
So he's 21 years into that plan. So
yep.
good for him.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's actually what I'm. I
Ooh.
like. I didn't serve
Well,
anywhere near as long, but
this is almost a separate topic. I
yeah,
was gonna say, let me save drones for the end.
yeah,
Makes the law now.
yeah. I don't think so.
I
I don't think so.
bribe. See,
Yeah.
people don't understand, like, bribe. There, okay, like the auditing. Like there are questionable things you could say that
Mhm.
happen in
Yes.
government contract procurements that aren't exactly the cleanest. Like, you know, a wife giving her spouse a contract or something. But like, to say bribe, you're implying that there's a law. Bribes are against the law. So
Yeah.
do I think that happens on a regular basis? No. But I mean, like I said, like you could have a senator push to have a contract adjusted to another company that works in their district.
Yeah.
There's no bribery in that. There's other forces that work. I don't want people to think, oh, government contracting is corrupt or is
Yeah.
plagued. It's not. It's really not. But there's lots of different forces being, at play with these
Mhm.
government contracts.
Oh yeah.
And for the most part, it's all on the up and up. I mean, obviously, I look at some procurements from when I do audits, and I'm like, it's kind of questionable ethically what they're doing, but it's not like against the rule. It's kind of against the heart of the rule, but not wrong. And we let it slide. So there's lots of gray area, but
Yeah. There's a website, at least for the American perspective, sam.gov, where you're able to take a look at the government like posting contracts of like what they want. Like it could be like military related. It could be like, hey, one of our Italian air bases wants to redo some buildings. Okay, they listed it on the contract, sam.gov. Like I was able to see the past track record of, all right, we've formulated the contract or the bidding process. Okay, we've accepted a local bidder, and like here's the status of it, and now it's paid out, and they're initiating the work. Like, so there's like if it is corrupt and there is bribery, there would be paper trailed, which is
yeah.
kind of
But like
fun.
like this one that I talked about. Okay, let's say
Yeah.
theoretically, let's say AM General made political donations to their local senator who's on the, right committee that got
Hmm.
this contract switched to them from
Yeah.
Oshkosh. That's not bribery though. That's
No.
legal. If you
Yeah.
do it a certain way, it's perfectly legal. It's just
Hmm.
how the system works.
Yeah.
Right and wrong don't matter.
Oh
It's
yeah.
not a crime.
And even then, I think like I could be wrong, but I want to say the JLTV was like instead they went with the MRAP, is what I want to say. Um, Anecdotally, like it seemed the MRAP was okay enough.
Well, the
I mean,
MRAP was
maybe.
a one-time deal just for like Iraq, I think.
Oh, okay.
Is that
All
the
right.
V-shaped hull?
Yeah.
for IEDs. Yeah, they don't have those now. We're giving them to Ukraine.
Yep.
They're ridiculous. I drove one once. They're
I
so
was.
big. They were so big. We were hitting power lines because the Afghanis, there's no requirements how high a power cable has to go.
Yep.
They're just flinging them between houses. So that thing was so tall. I think it was like 16 feet tall. And then there's a jamming antenna on top of that, even to try and block like radio signals, IDs.
Yep.
Thing was so tall. Oh my god!
I got to do rollover training and simulated like sub-manufactured one of those over in Fort Bliss. It was fun times.
But so, anyways, if people want to get into military company investing,
Yeah,
anyways,
yeah.
you know, the Pentagon's telling you what their priorities are of spending,
Mhm.
like knowing exactly what contracts. I don't think they can come and go. Contracts
Oh,
can
yeah.
be for a year or two, and then they go to a different
Yep.
company. But the priorities of spending are a different matter, I think, where you can just see, who's getting the increases in the budget, which service, and then a separate issue is what are the priorities of the DOD as far as like warfare. Are they prioritizing modernization, increasing manpower levels, or in this case, they've talked in this budget, they're talking about the Pacific, China.
Yep.
That's what they're spending towards. They're focusing their efforts on improving the U.S. for a war with China, which is kind of crazy when you read. It's right in there. That's why Navy, Air Force have getting such huge bumps, and the Army's kind of flat.
Yeah.
And Marines flat also.
I would caution people, like, if they're trying to think like, oh, this is something that every single DoD employee or enlisted person and officer is going to have. Let's pump the brakes. Like, I know they're not the biggest branch, but the running joke has been, Marine Corps needs to go to Daddy Navy because they always need money. It's a joke. Sometimes it is an appropriate joke from what I've heard, but
Space
I
Force
wasn't
is
in there.
out to get more money than them. That'll be interesting.
That would be messed up.
I'm telling anybody listening to me, if you're in high school, man, I would kill to join Space Force if I was in high school right now.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the training you're going to get for free to be there. I mean, what an amazing opportunity for you if you could get into Space Force. For somebody listening, like the training you'll get, and then you can get out. GI Bill. They're going to teach you like all sorts of engineering, and be so interesting.
Plenty of random jobs where like you're able to it translates really well into the civilian world. Some of them, sadly, not as much, but do the best you can out there.
Yeah, and you can see the Navy. So the Navy's actually wanting to build newer ships. They want to get rid of some of their littoral combat vessels.
Yep.
They're prioritizing submarines right now, which is very interesting.
Oh yeah.
And then some destroyers, but most of their spending on naval vessels, it said, was like submarines right now. So submarines, like General Dynamic is a submarine builder in Groton, Connecticut. So that's something if people want to look at. Precision munitions, though, is the big one. That's the big one that's not going anywhere. No. The problem is, it's like, okay, the big boy for precision munition is Raytheon.
Yeah, and
I just don't. I got out of Raytheon at 100 because it's such a big company. I don't see how much bigger it's going to get. That basically was why. And I was right, because it's pretty much just went flat after that. So this was the other part. So this is their actual the Department of Defense's actual budget. It's 150 pages, so we're not going to go through this. One part for my purposes. So here is, since I own Northrop Grumman.
Yep.
And in here they talk the priority of the Department of Defense in their budget. They said is the modernization of their nuclear capabilities. So that was the first thing they talked about in their budget. So that just tells you the priorities. So nuclear deterrent, war with China.
Yeah,
there you go. That's the priorities of the DoD right now. But you can see, and I know the big reason Northrop Grumman dropped is because there was cost overruns on the B-21, so it was less profitable when they started manufacturing it. So Wall Street panicked. I talked to some people in the Discord, and I'm like, it's going to be fine. They will fix it. There's no one else that can build these planes.
Yeah.
So they just started the run on this. I'm not worried. And it was a good time to buy it, I think. And the budgets are going to go up. You can see the budget increases just in Northrop's bomber program. So I think it's a great. I see no reason to ever get rid of my Northrop Grumman. Like I said, they're going to send rockets to Mars. That's when I'll sell the stock.
No, that's where it just begins.
Yeah, but a lot of talk of submarines.
Oh yeah,
I was very surprised how much they talked about submarines in the budget, because I'm not a Navy guy, but just extensive page after page. They have a new submarine program. They want to replace the Ohio class with a new submarine. They're still building the Virginia class attack submarines. So someone could look, okay, who builds those? And you could maybe look at that company and see what their projected increases in revenue are, possibly. F-35, I mean, more and more countries are are buying the F-35. So that story is fantastic for Lockheed Martin. The big risk, now 6th generation, who knows if they get the 6th gen? Because now you're back in the game, Northrop, Boeing, Lockheed Martin are all going to be in the running for that.
Free for all.
Yeah. But they all kind of make parts for it. It's not just one company.
Oh, yeah.
There's multiple companies make parts for the F-35.
Yeah.
It's not just Lockheed.
Yeah, like a company would have to be really, really incompetent and horrible to like completely die off in this space once they reach a certain size, is my guess.
Yeah,
or they get bought out.
5 or 6 massive players in this space.
Yeah.
The days of mergers might be over at this point, honestly.
Yeah.
These big boys.
Yeah.
All these companies are massive. Yeah, so people can read this, and like I said, though, you already own almost all these companies we're talking about in the S&P 500. So there's like, I talked about this before, like if you were going to do like a short-term investment, let's say, because a lot of this is long-term we've talking about there.
Yeah.
That's all long-term theories. But let's say you wanted a short-term, Ryu on a military contractor. Let's see. This was something I had been watching. I missed it though, but like when all the precision guided munitions and artillery is king in Ukraine. So I started looking at what do we make? And we make these Paladin systems, which is like what basically what the US is modernizing to. You can go look up contracts. You can actually go look up, I don't know if people are aware, every day the DOD posts like what contracts were issued on their website. I mean, how useful is that? Not really. It's just something you can look at. But a lot of more recent activity was to give contracts for new Paladin systems, because I think we saw, oh shit, we still need a lot of artillery because of what's happening when you fight the Russians, and how the war is going over there. So I looked at, and I see that BAE makes the Paladin system for us. So it's like, oh, okay, let's go look. So I went and looked, and there was a trade. So there was a trade. At this point, I don't know. Maybe it's still there.
Yeah.
Maybe. But you can see like the artillery news came out this year. I mean, this is short term. If you'd gotten to time it right, I don't know, maybe. But this is a British arms dealer, arms company. So they still stand to benefit from increases in spending in NATO. So someone could check them out. I don't know if I really want to add a European arms company at this point, honestly, but someone could take a look at that. So what else?
If you're comfortable with those, holding off on the drones.
Hold off for a second. Okay, we talked about the budget. So I can do General Dynamic. Raytheon. So, like I said, Raytheon, like the problem with Raytheon's like 50-50 military private sector.
Yeah.
And then Boeing is like, if I remember last time I looked, Boeing is like 70-30, 30% military, 70% commercial. Lockheed Martin's like 99% military. So Raytheon, you think, oh, it's more well-rounded, so that makes it a better company. But like again, it's like I don't see how they get any bigger.
Yeah.
To some degree, that it makes sense to buy it over just like a S&P index. And then they have this issue. This is why it went from like 100 to 85 in a day. They have issues with the Pratt and Whitney engines. I guess there's paint that's flaking off them, and they're going to have to do inspections on all these engines.
Oof.
To determine if there is a bigger problem.
Yeah.
So people could, if you want to go look at this, you could go look at the most recent earnings call for what the company said about it. I just don't see the investment with Raytheon. I saw someone on Reddit actually, when it crashed like $15, they fucking YOLO'd into contracts on Raytheon.
Oh, jeez.
of all the YOLO plays. That ridiculous. I think it would go back to $100 so fast, but so that's that. I don't know. I don't see anything. You want to buy Raytheon?
I don't have an outstanding urge really. Like again, just because I'm already indexed.
Raytheon.
Yeah, I just like it's not that they're an awful company. Like if someone from Raytheon were to offer me a career there, would I say no? Like probably not. Like depending on the terms and conditions, but
yeah, it just seems okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
They have the precision missiles. You don't get so much of the space or air exposure.
Yeah.
That I was looking for. That's why I like Northrop, and Northrop was cheaper on a valuation basis the last year. I don't know if that's changed recently. So other than that, yeah, I just like where Northrop Grumman is in the military contracting space, in the space, space, rocket technology, which I guess is what Aerojet. That's why L3 Harris bought them, because they want to compete in that space.
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of weird for me to buy L3 Harris, because if L3 Harris succeeds, it's probably at the detriment of Northrop Grumman. So I'm just going to pick one. So I'm going to stick with what I have. But yeah, Northrop also is not just military. I don't know if people know, they also help with like the telescopes. When they launch scientific telescopes, they're part of those projects also. So it's a very well-rounded military company, which I like, and I like just everything about them. They have big backlogs of orders. I think they'll figure out the B-21 cost issues. So I'm not really worried. I think they have a moat. I think they definitely have moats, not the whole company, but specific parts of their business.
Yeah.
So you can see aeronautic systems. That's their big boy right there. So mission systems. So space. Yep. Oh, look, it's him.
Oh, he's here. You mentioned L3 Harris. So I was like, he's.
I know. I just did too.
He's gonna show up.
I don't know. I know that they talked a big game, L3 Harris, the CEO, that they want to make huge gains in the Aerojet's business space. Okay. If it works, I mean, you will be richly rewarded, right? So. So it's gotten crushed pretty mightily. You can look at, on a valuation basis, it seems cheap. Let's see if what should we price the sale of these? How do you want to value them?
Yeah, why not? PE just for the meme.
Wait, we're Gap. Okay.
Yeah, Gap. Just for fun.
Is it not loading? There we go.
There you go.
So, I mean,
yep.
Should do a 1-day chart. That's all that matters. Yeah, I don't know. So I don't really see a compelling one.
Yeah, I agree. So, yeah.
I guess drones. Okay, drones.
Oh, already. That time of the day.
So basically, to summarize, I guess I'm sticking with my two for now. There is a I think I told you this. I have a speculation in a drone security company.
Oh, I remember.
It is so small, I'm not going to
Yep.
mention it here.
No.
It's a very small company. I think there is opportunities if we move past the big military contractors that are like in the spy.
Mhm.
I think I don't think the big military contractors have a lot of assets in like the drones that we're seeing in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Small drones, not
Mhm.
like the Reapers, like we've
Yeah.
seen, but we've learned the lessons in Ukraine. It's not about those big expensive drones that America's always had that can loiter for days,
Yep.
because the electronic warfare systems and the jamming and the defense systems, those things don't last. So we're finding it's about cheap drones,
Yep.
like 30, 50, $100,000 maybe at most drones. And that's what's working. And then you just flood the fields with massive amounts of these things. So are those companies out there, and are they going to get contracts and be successful? Or maybe one of the big companies just buys them rather than try and develop their own
Mhm.
business in the space. I didn't really see a compelling investment opportunity in any of the big military players for drones, honestly,
Yeah.
based on what's going on in Ukraine. So
Yep.
I think if I had to say there was some sort of 10x opportunity in military space, I think it could be in drones, possibly.
No, I agree. I agree.
Maybe, but the one I have, it's so they don't make drones. They are a drone defense company.
Mhm.
So they build the technologies that you could employ around like a military facility.
Yep.
And they also have don't say
I
the company.
remember. I'm not gonna say it. No, I'm not gonna say it.
So they also make handheld devices where you can jam, and they work with the military. They work, and they said their goal was to work also with companies,
Mhm.
like corporations and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be, if you can find those, because I think that's going to be a big concern for a lot of people, not just military, but
Oh,
government,
yeah.
political,
Yeah. Yep.
drone security.
Mhm.
Then these small companies that make drones, I mean, how can you patent? I don't know. It's pretty commoditized, some of this technology. I think
Yeah.
these small drones.
Yeah. Like,
So, what do you
only
think?
way you could do
Do
that
you
is
see
like
opportunity somewhere?
I don't know why you said it that way. But no, like all right, so as far as like countermeasures, I think there's potential. It's just that outside of the one company that will not be mentioned on the live stream, uh, that I swear that just invites everyone to ping you on Discord.
It's
But
very small. I don't understand
yeah,
it.
yes, I respect the reason why you're hesitant. I don't know who else is playing in that space, like fully, or on like what level, or with that focus. Um, but yeah, like the only way I could see a company somehow having an edge is if you have like a really really great alloy, and that comes with like the patent to make these cost effective somehow, but durable enough, like drones that are also lightweight enough. And everything I just mentioned defies the triangle of what like military people are familiar with of like cost effectiveness, lightweight, and durability. Like you get off of the joke is pick two, one of the three you're not getting. If you want it to be durable and lightweight, good luck on having the low price. You want it cheap, and you want it to have some quality or durability. Good luck on the other one. Just yeah, yeah,
Like,
and
these
and
look
I
so
agree.
cool, but, like, the
Yeah,
problem is, like, they just don't last
yeah,
on a battlefield between two modern militaries.
hmm
Like, this thing is gonna get shot out of the sky,
yeah. It has to be.
and
It
these
has
are
to operate.
expensive. These Predator drones are
Oh
not
yeah,
cheap.
yeah. It has
Um,
to operate where you have maybe not absolute control, but far closer to absolute control of the battle space than.
yeah, like, these were great on the war on terror,
Yeah, yeah,
but when we're fighting military, that's over. Like,
yeah,
now we're getting ready to fight other modern militaries. That's what the
yeah.
military is getting ready for.
hmm
So, yeah. Yeah, tough. It's tough, drones.
Oh yeah,
But that's where you could see something.
yeah.
Maybe some company that develops a new GPS guided precision ammunition of some type
hmm
that's cheap. That's the other part that we've learned about in Ukraine. You can have the greatest military technology in the world, but
Yeah.
it's about cost.
Yep.
So you can have $100 million Tomahawk cruise missile, but
Yep.
how many targets do you have that are worth $100 million cruise missile?
hmm
And that's the problem with some of these weapons. Like, they're
Yep.
great, amazing, accurate, awesome technology, but then like the costs are so prohibitive.
Oh yeah.
So they're fine. Like they need to develop things like maybe find a missile that's like 80% of the capability of a Tomahawk, but like 25% of the cost.
Yeah.
So that's what's being looked at too, on a cost basis. There's only so many targets that you can shoot at with like a cruise missile that makes it make sense, like a
Oh
ship.
yeah.
But like to use a cruise missile to blow up like a grain silo, like freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like what a certain company is doing.
Does not seem ideal.
But
Just-
I would like people invest in the military companies, like don't your expectations for 10xing. I don't know. These are slow, steady growing companies, you know.
Oftentimes.
Over long periods of time, they do very well, a lot of them. So
Do you happen to have like favorite metrics or things that like you hear people talking about, like government contractor or defense contractor companies, where you just think that's wrong, consistently wrong, or that's overrated or overhyped?
mm,
If you don't have an answer, that's perfectly fine.
well, I think a lot of people they liked Boeing because they had a air business and a military. They were diversified.
Oh yeah, the whole diversified thing on that.
I don't think diversification is so essential for military contractors. That's
Yeah.
part of the reason I wasn't really a big fan of what L3 Harris did. I think they were really good at what they were doing, but they see where the government contracts go just like we do.
Yeah.
They know where the money's being spent and they weren't in those spaces. So they kind of had to make a move for the future. But I don't know. Like I could see from like Lockheed Martin's dominance in the air. Like I don't see who takes that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
At
they
least
are the air power of the free world at this
Yeah.
point. So, I mean, investing in them now, I don't know.
Yeah.
A few years ago, it was an amazing investment. Dividend Diplomat. He bought it in like 2012.
Oof.
I think he said on some podcast he had a $3,000 initial investment in Lockheed. Then it's worth over 20,000 now. I don't remember which one. The more skeleton looking Dividend Diplomat guy. But yeah, so I don't know if those days are still ahead of them. But I don't know. They keep getting contracts. They got like F-35s they're selling to Canada now.
Yep.
So, yep. But who knows what will sell to NATO? I don't know. It is a handheld device, but the company it's like a gun. It looks like a gun is the way they shaped it. It looks ridiculous. So they might need to shrink it. It's
That is one area of curiosity that I have. Is I've anecdotally, at least what I'm seeing, is the weight each troop has to carry has been creeping back up now, and I wonder if that trend will continue or where people will say, "Hold on, let's pump the brakes here, and then let's take a look at our suppliers and see what we can work on."
yeah.
I don't know if and when that becomes an issue, but yeah,
Well,
yeah, it's there.
personnel levels are shrinking. So
Yeah.
military is getting smaller but more advanced.
Oh, absolutely.
So you can see, yeah, just also that like the Navy wants to, like that was big. The Navy wants to scuttle some ships that technically aren't through their entire lifespan for newer designs.
Yeah.
So there is a push by some of the branches in the military. The Army's getting rid of the Bradley and the Abrams for newer designs. So there is kind of a modernization push because of, do people remember sequestration?
Oh yeah,
In the Obama era?
Yep.
They really kneecapped the budget. Did I have it here? Hold on.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like from a macro perspective, some people would say sequestration didn't do much, but then at the same time, though, like for those that were in the know, like a lot of things definitely got kneecapped in a noticeable way.
Here we go. Okay, hold on a second. I think they have a chart in here. Yeah, so you can see.
Yep.
So some of the modernization efforts that the military wanted to do, I think, got delayed.
Yep.
Plus the wars on terror were
Mhm.
quite expensive. So you had, the wars on terror, combined with this huge dip in military spending. So there's a lot of, you can see it in the budget. There is a lot of modernization that the Department of Defense and Pentagon want to do.
Yeah.
You could tell in their budgets when you look at it. So there is a push for spending and upgrading equipment, especially with the push against China. So I think there is opportunity here for somebody. Like I said, I'm in the two company. I'm not planning on any more for now.
Mm.
2+1. So,
Yeah.
but someone else might see something I don't. Maybe you have a Navy background, one of the shipbuilders, something I don't know much about. That because the Navy's really pushing. So maybe a shipbuilder or somebody that one of the precision munition companies. That's a big push.
Yeah.
But I think they are trying to catch up. So we'll see.
Yep.
But like nobody messaged me to say, hey, well, that's just the budget. It's not approved until Congress. Like, understand.
Yeah.
The military gets what they want normally, though.
Oh yeah.
And nobody hates the military. Republicans and Democrats. Well, Republicans love the military. Democrats like the military.
Yeah.
That's how I describe it. Kraft. Oh, we're talking about military, and he goes for Kraft.
Maybe Kraft Heinz will get into the MRE business.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, it will be.
yeah, I was gonna say like they've already had work on the Abrams X,
Yes.
which just sounds like freaking terrifying. Like last I saw.
So it's interesting. It's a lighter tank.
Yep.
So it's lighter tank. I believe it's going to be not the jet turbine. I think it's going to be diesel electric.
Yeah, that's what I
So
want.
better fuel efficiency, lighter, smaller. It's going to have an auto loader. So one less person in the crew. So there's no crew, if I remember this correctly. There's no crew here.
Yep.
In the turret. I wrote my history, my thesis for my history degree on the Abrams battle tank.
Oh.
So I love tanks.
Yeah.
But there's going to be no person in here. It's going to be an auto loader.
Mhm.
So all the people are underneath, which, hopefully they're more protected, right?
Yeah.
So, and then the ammunition would blow out the back if it gets blown up. They're supposed to have like active defense systems.
Yep.
So to see a projectile coming, it's supposed to like shoot it back at it and stuff. This is an auto cannon. So, because there's no one here. So that's going to be automated. And then all this. So it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I forgot what the specs were because I want to say like this thing was supposed to be stealth for a certain generation of like heat vision and other like maybe thermal and IR or something like that. But yeah, like this thing it has at least some stealth capabilities. Like it was scary just hearing about it.
I mean, I did own General Dynamics in the past.
Yeah.
The stock doesn't do much. It's such an old company. I don't know what you're going to expect it. You might get an average return. So I don't know, but they're such a well-run. They have probably the nicest balance sheet of any of the companies. Really good dividend metrics. Their payout ratio is low, but they grow it responsibly. They're in a lot of different spaces, but the problem, they're a lot of Army assets, right? General Dynamic is the land vehicles, the trucks, the tanks, and we just saw that the spending's not increasing there. So, but they are in the Navy space. So,
Yeah. Got a shot.
But like, I don't know. Yeah, it's so cool. Love these things.
Yeah. Freaking terrifying thing.
Oh, wait, Palantir? I'm not.
Oh,
Palantir.
darn it! I was thinking
I see
myself.
what you did there.
So close,
Fucking
so close.
Palantir.
It's gonna get there.
I'm not even talking about Palantir. Clown. Oh, Amit thinks the military is going to spend like this huge chunk of their budget on Palantir contracts.
No,
Yeah, whatever. You won't have unmanned vehicles. I don't think you will. Like unmanned tanks.
Yeah,
no. I don't think you were going to take people out of decision making. And also, if you had an unmanned tank near the enemy's front, I would be worried they would just shoot at it because they'd be like, well, there's nobody that's going to get killed. So what's the worst? So I think it could make difficult situations even harder. Because like the Russians have tried to like knock our Reaper drones out of the sky, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You figure politically, there's no person there.
Yep.
There's no
Yeah, you
pilot
can
you
be
have to deal with. So I think
be
it
more
can
aggressive.
exacerbate tensions in the world if you have automated like
Yeah.
tanks. I don't like the idea.
Yep.
Fuhad, if you say Palantir is not bad, I am gonna time out you to oblivion. Don't even go there. Oh, so that's that. Do
Yep.
you have anything else you're looking at?
Uh, not really, not really. But I'm trying to think of like how I could like get more value for the viewers in this topic, because I know like military contractors, defense contractors are always like a topic of interest, and there's plenty of evergreen content and also very very contextual based or like time sensitive stuff.
I mean,
Um,
to me, they're like, railroads, military contractors. I mean,
yeah,
I guess if you wanted that type of, you know, be in that space,
mhm,
I'm not opposed to buying more Northrop. I haven't fully. I probably. I don't know if I'd buy more Lockheed at this point.
yeah,
It's so highly valued, and then I mean, they could potentially lose the 6th generation fighter contracts.
mhm,
So
yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully, the active defense on the Abrams isn't like the. Oh my god, yeah. I love that they put the reactive armor plates on the T-72s, but it's not. It's just like rubber mats. Like they
Oh,
cut horse
geez, yeah,
mats and just put it in the slots.
yeah. That was
Yeah. Well, hell, I
oh,
mean, maybe you'll find a company that makes those cages, the drone cages that they put over the tanks now. So, but again, there's nothing patentable or moat. There's no moat to that. It's just
yeah,
a cage. So, that's the thing you'd be careful about with
yeah,
military contractors. Space, but I think space is the most important thing to keep because big percentage increases in spending on space.
yeah,
So, and I think
yeah.
Northrop's right there. Um,
No,
but
maybe
other-
SpaceX. Elon's the way forward in that space.
yeah,
Of course, I'm
I
joking.
I thought about talking about engineering consultants, but I don't know if I know enough about them yet to talk about them.
That's
There's
fine.
two
That's
companies primarily I was looking at,
yeah.
Jacob Solutions and this one when I've had time,
Oh,
ACOM.
yeah.
Um, I find them really fascinating, like what they do. So
Hmm.
that's kind of what I've been spending a lot of my investment time that I have that I can look at stuff. But
This is for a future live stream where you say what you've found, what you're thinking, and either live comments, live chat, has your back and helps, or someone in the future, DMs you and says this or that, and hopefully it's credible.
yep. So
Yeah. Oh yeah,
water.
another
There
one,
you go.
another one.
Another
Fixing
water.
troubles on water.
Yep. Any company that's exposed to water in some way, I'm kind of interested in right now. Um, that's kind of where I'm looking. So it's this one.
Mm.
I did start a small position in Jacobs after my episode talking with Andrew
Oh yeah.
because I looked at it. I opened a start position and
Mhm.
I think I got it somewhere in here,
Oh
like mid low. So it did run up a little bit since I
yeah.
bought a starter. Um, I like how they're divesting one of their slower growing businesses.
Mm.
But I couldn't imagine this being a big position for me. Um,
Mm.
I don't think there's that big of an opportunity yet,
Yeah.
but it's interesting.
No, for sure.
But people think I'm a stock picking clown. It's like most of the year I've just been filling out ETFs, people. So calm down. This is stuff just for fun. Still half, pretty much, over at least half of every month's friggin' contributions, usually more, is just
Yeah.
ETFs. I don't even think about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. You're in a position where your active portfolio, you can have as much fun as you want, and the fun plays could go to zero, and you probably wouldn't care,
I
just
should.
because the
I have
core
a
is
whole file. I should. I literally have like 20 photos of because I was trying to like. I did a video core satellite investing portfolio, and
oh
there's so many different diagrams of this stuff. which kind of makes me laugh. I have a whole folder of it at this point, but so there's no specific way to do this. Here, this one's fun too.
Oh, Jesus.
That's what your portfolio could look like. There's more. Okay, this one. I'm so confused. Because he's like, okay, Corp, what is it? It's like, hey, this one's easier to understand.
Okay, yeah.
All right, there's more. Oh my God, what are we doing here? This looks like what an asset manager would do to confuse the hell out of you and take his 2%. But I still think this is the way to go. I think for someone, I would say if someone asked me like what to do, I hope people don't know. But you have your core, which is like some broadly diversified, like SPY or the world, VT, if you will, and then your satellite holdings. I would kind of break your satellite into two, where it'd be like actively managed ETFs could be like 30%, and then that remaining 20% would be like your speculative holdings.
Yeah.
So something like that, I would think would be more of a structure for people.
I'd say, naturally again, and I imagine you'd agree, like if someone's like, oh, my income is very, very volatile, maybe we change the percentages up some more.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, like so it's like if you have like your 401k, you do the match, whatever they match 4%. So you do the match, you put that in a target date fund for your retirement. Then you open your Roth and you do, VU, or some mixture of VU and a developed world ETF, and then maybe you pick a few stocks in your personal portfolio.
Yeah,
you're good to go. You are better off than 95% of America. Just that. It's not even that hard. But
please though, like pick one or like at most like two like grown up ETFs for like each one. Like don't be like, oh, I'm gonna have SPY and VU because I am a genius.
The other way you can invest is you can do this.
I am short Nvidia. Do not short Nvidia along with me. It is very risky. I am down a lot of money. I'm okay with.
You could throw all this core satellite. It's all bullshit, man. Just do that. Go ahead, people. I can play that all. I'm just gonna loop it for like 10 hours on my page. One of those, I'm gonna upload 10-hour loop of that as a video. Just keep it going.
Oh God, that just.
Why would you even bother? Someone has to explain this to me. Slurpees, are you here? You're a smart man. Why would you, if you have millions of dollars, bother shorting things like Nvidia?
Yeah, like if you're a millionaire and like you want to be right, then like there's hobbies out there.
That's it. Yeah, he wants to be right. Like, it's some guru.
Oh God.
Oh my God. Big Buddha.
Yeah.
Oh no.
60-40.
I don't know where the 60-40 comes from because I look at the target date funds, like like a bunch of them, and it never gets to 60-40. Even the ones where the target date is passed, they'll keep it going after the date, and it still doesn't get 60-40 most of the time. Somebody must have said that somewhere.
I've because I'm a nerd, I tried to like look into where 60-40 originated from. I can't find it. Like, how like Ray Dalio's big thing is, oh, I have my Ray Dalio method of all weather portfolio. We got 4 quadrants of like high growth, low growth, and high inflation, low inflation, and I got 16 different types of asset classes. So like these hedge fund or these fund managers, they naturally want to like attach their branding, but 60-40, I don't know who started it and where it came from or how old it is. It's just one of those like weird mysteries. If you're a finance history nerd or just a nerd, congratulations, I gave you that something.
You have sometimes you never know where these things come from, honestly. Like it could be any source. Some of these and people start saying it, but nobody knows where it came from.
Yeah.
This is an interesting point. He brought up. I was trying to find. I could have sworn there was a decision by the IRS on this.
Mhm.
I was talking about tax loss harvesting.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's an established case where somebody did a SPY VU swap, and it's
Oh,
not.
no.
They determined it was not a wash sale.
Yeah.
Because they're different companies, and they aren't exactly the same investment index. I think there's
Mhm.
slight differences.
Yeah.
And different fees.
Mhm.
So it's a case by case basis, I think, is what the IRS determines whether it is or isn't. I don't know what your brokerage does. If the brokerage sends you like a default answer,
Mhm.
I don't know. But I think that is a fine swap.
I would just be careful because I know I know there's the letter of law, there's the spirit of law. You want to be extra careful with both.
Mhm.
Yeah, because you can be clever, and you might even be right,
I'm on.
and actually win. But
Bye.
yeah,
Oh boy. You buy VU all year and then sell it, transfer to SPY. You probably can. I don't think you'd not tax advice, but
yeah. Yeah. Just be careful is all I'd say.
I mean, we're all small potatoes. They
Yeah,
ain't gonna look at us.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Prayer helps was what
I've
I've
never
heard.
been audited my whole life. So foo hat, for God's sakes. So this is something this will be part of my my ETF review because it's related to cows is the ETF I'm gonna
Oh
do.
yeah.
I think the name is cool. It's an
It
interesting
is a
fund
funny name.
actually. It's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
quite it's the way it's set up. I
Mhm.
kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of like moat. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But
It's just
here's a
like
art.
the
This is a research paper. It kind of goes with it. And
yeah.
it's recent. It's only from 2021. But this guy's research cash flow. Now, cows isn't cash flow growth
Mhm.
necessarily, but
Yeah. I think that's
this guy,
calf maybe, but
yeah. So he
uh,
found in the conclusions that um, expected changes in cash flow are a primary driver of stock returns.
yeah.
Supports this empirical evidence supports this modeling. Stock returns are positively associated with cash flow growth.
Yeah.
So it's interesting case study where you have, there is some research that cash flow growth can be attached to good overperformance of the stocks. I have an ETF that focuses on cash flow. It's outperforming the market. So it's interesting to look at.
Yeah, yeah.
But it could be that's like a satellite holding, right?
Mhm.
That can be a actively managed satellite holding that you think could do well. So you take a little bit of a shot at it.
If
There we
only it
go.
had a better expense ratio.
And it probably didn't perform as good
Yeah.
as PP.
Oh
Okay,
no.
let's see how much of a clown I am. All right, charting. All right, we're gonna put cows.
Yep. Good
Let's
old
put
base
moat
rate.
in there.
Mode.
And all right, and we got to put good old Ross. Okay, price return is fine. They don't pay dividends anyways.
Yeah.
Year to date. Googly moogly. Look at that. Oh, I should put VU in here.
Just for fun.
Yeah. So let's see how they did.
Yeah.
Oh, look. Ross finally did an
Yep.
out.
The absolute
Slight,
madman.
but he
Your
really
to-date
didn't.
pros.
His I think his expense ratio is 1%. So actually, no, he
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah,
Moat,
your to-date
we joke, but Moat still is knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
It's still outperforming. Cows.
Yeah.
Not this year though, but
Yeah.
cattle.
Like if it weren't for the inflation concerns, if it was like any other normal year, you'd probably be like, you know what, I'm probably okay with this. For some people at least, like
They
I
say
don't
like,
know.
yeah. I mean, these are satellite type holdings. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't see any. It falls under a satellite holding, so whatever percentage, which would be like 10-20%, you could try. Whatever keeps you investing. So
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's it. I don't really have much else.
Unless chat has anything else for defense contractors or anything relevant, I guess.
I think we talked about that for an hour.
Yeah, because yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Like, interesting space, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's a space that gets revisited.
Yeah. Let's see. Only.
Dear God.
All right. What outro should we do? I don't know. I can't think of who. If. All right. Well, I'll play both of them because I can.
All good. All good.
So thanks for staying tuned. We'll see what the topic is for next one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll have to see. Think about it. Thanks for listening, people. All right.
I understand I'm sitting alone by saying this. I'm adamantly against rainy day funds.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
So, you want to have that rainy day fund. My suggestion is credit card.
Everybody knows you never go full retard. What do you mean?
And let's say, God forbid, it's a medical emergency and you have to declare bankruptcy at some point in the future. Declare bankruptcy, it's bankruptcy, it's bankruptcy, it's...
Why is everyone so fucking stupid? Why aren't more people intelligent like me?
I am short Nvidia. Do not short Nvidia along with me. It is very risky. I am down a lot of money. I'm okay with it. I am down a lot of money. I'm okay with it. I am down a lot of money. I'm going to tell you something. I've started a position in 3M stock.